Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. We're back. Socially Conscious Entertainment Hour. We're live. 8 o'clock. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. The time is 8:08 p.m. And hit us up. Be down with us for Socially Conscious Entertainment Hour. 804-447-0601. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. At this time, every single week we profile a missing and or exploited child. And this week, of course, is no different. Our missing and or exploited child this week is a young lady by the name of Sarah Elizabeth K. Matthews. Sarah Elizabeth K. Matthews, endangered runaway, date of birth June 10th, 1999. She's been missing since December 4th, 2012. She's 13 years old. She's missing from Baltimore, Maryland. She's a black female who stands 5'3", weighs 136 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. She's missing from Baltimore City, Maryland. She may be in the company of an unknown adult male, and she may be in need of medical attention. If you have seen Sarah Elizabeth K. Matthews, please contact the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Hit them on their website, missingkids.com, or contact them by phone at 1-800-THE-LOST, 1-800-843-5678. Sarah Elizabeth K. Matthews. Please help bring her home. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. At this time, it's time to introduce your man, Big Rube, as we transition to the segment that we like to call the Fishbowl. Bloop, 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 bloop. What's up, brother? What you got, man?
Yo, man, really? The bloop, bloop, bloop.
I mean, hey, that was like your theme music, man.
I didn't make that theme music.
I didn't make it up either. I mean, we've been doing bloop, bloop, bloop forever. Now you got a problem with bloop, bloop, bloop? I mean,
Yeah.
what's the problem?
I mean, the problem is, I don't know.
Oh gosh, I can't make some people happy, man. You make me sick.
I
Go on
want
and do
theme
your
music.
thing. Just you can't handle.
Chris had
You
theme
can't.
music last week.
You
Why
can't
can't
handle.
theme music?
That's because she has somebody here singing for her. When you
Why
want to
can't
call
you
Lissa
sing
P
theme
back,
music for me?
then you can get Lissa P to come sing for you. But I ain't singing for you.
Trifling, man.
Yeah, it just had to be that
help
way.
me out.
I'm not supposed to be helping you out. I want to help you. Just do your segment,
All
man.
right.
Fighting with me.
Yeah, whatever. You like it. Now, first question. They're not sure what to do with Sandy River Elementary School. The kids don't really want to go back there because of the shooting a month ago. So, I guess my first question, I'll pose it to, the host of the show. I'll let you do the first thing. What do you think should be done with Sandy River Elementary School?
Sandy Hook Elementary, man. That's a tough one. What do I think they should do with Sandy Hook Elementary School? I thought about it. I saw the article, earlier today when it came out, and they're trying to have town hall meetings to discuss it. The kids who don't want to go back there. My personal opinion is you take what the general consensus is for the people there. I mean, they kept Columbine, and those kids continue to go there, and it stands to this day from April of 1999 when that incident happened. Yeah, I understand that, but you asked me my opinion, so
All right,
so anyway. But in all seriousness, I think they should take the general consensus for what the community wants to do. If it was up to me, I'd say knock the building down, and put something else there. Put a supermarket there. Put a library there. I wouldn't have school there. Just build Sandy Hook around the corner or somewhere else. Even if you want to change the name of the school, because 20 babies died there, and that kind of tragedy is going to be a part of that community forever. If you'd asked me my opinion, I would have tore down Columbine, but they didn't, but then again, using that logic, that's a lot of stuff to be tearing down. I mean, were you going to tear down Virginia Tech? I mean, you're going to tear down, everything. So, but specific to Sandy Hook, if it was my opinion, if it was up to me, I would say that's what I would do. Tony, what you think? It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, like you said, you can't knock down every school that this happens to. I mean, yes, it was horrific. It was beyond horrific that this happened. And maybe that school is small enough where they can, kind of rebuild and put it somewhere else. But even still, those children are going to be still mortified to go to any school probably for a very long time. So I don't know. I mean, of course, it's more difficult to go into the same school, but I don't think that actually knocking that school down is really, it's not going to make those wounds heal any faster.
Yeah, I mean, I heard a story, Colin Banks, about a guy who said his son refuses to go back to the school. What's your thoughts on what? I mean, Big Rube asked the question. Sandy Hook Elementary, after the tragedy we had just a little over a month ago, they're talking about what do they do with the school. What's your thoughts, bro?
Well, at this point, it's going to be a situation of your child's welfare and their mental stability. Can they handle going back to the school? You know, I played with little Jimmy and Susie and Billy, and I now have to go into a classroom and they're not there. I have to have that constantly on my mind as a little kid. At their age, you know, they're very impressionable. So, first of all, you got to get over the fact that I don't want to go back to this I'm tip jarring tonight. I don't want to go back to this damn school. I don't. You cannot force me back to the school. I mean, at this point, when a kid curse and say, I don't want to go back to that school, that's why. Because he's afraid. It's hard to build a trust level in something that you send me to every day. And, heck, I'm supposed to spend 6 years here, kindergarten through 5th grade, have fun, eat lunch, recess, learn, and then something like that happens. I mean, it's not that right place. Kids are able to heal, but that healing takes time. You cannot expect a turnaround in a month.
We getting a hit on the MixLR fan page. We got DMX Factor 1999, who's agreeing that we should let the community decide what should happen. Big Rube, you brought up the question. What's your thoughts, bro?
Well, definitely the children who've ever been there probably should not go back for their mental stability. However, I am not opposed to new kids going there. The kindergartners of the next year who don't have a mental experience of it. However, you would have to get people who also don't have that experience of it to work there as well. I know they were talking about a community center too. I mean, you know, they either need to do something with it or tear it down. I'm a fan of doing something with it or tear it down. Turn it into a city center where people work at, whatever. But, you know, if you're not going to have kids really be back up in there, they need to turn to something in which they would like to use. So,
I got you. What's the next question we got in the Fishbowl?
all right. Now, I know we've talked about this a couple times, but I want to bring it back up because it gets stupider as it happens. I'm pretty sure everybody's heard this stupid Trinidad James song, All Gold, Everything or something.
Never heard of it.
Where they talk about
Just set it up
pop
for
the
me.
molly, I'm just stupid terms like pop the molly, I'm sweating, you know, crap like that. And, you know, I guess my opinion is hip hop done? Is hip hop just done at this point? Because the crap that coming out today, now don't get me wrong, you got people like Juicy J who are who are basically, you know, getting sponsored by adult companies, adult film companies or website companies and stuff like that. And in their videos, that's all out there. They're in strip clubs, and then you see a lot of adult stars and stuff like that. Is hip hop as we know it done? Or, I mean, you know, I guess I'm gonna start with, Banks.
Banks
the
is
little
somebody,
you know about hip hop.
Yeah, he's not even a hip hop
I'm
fan,
not
so
a
I
hip-hop fan,
I do
mean,
think that it's appropriate to come to him first because he's not a hip hop fan.
You're going to get a scenario from me like this. I don't know if you really remember this, but there was a song out called Your Mama.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was a
Your
pretty
Mama.
hit show and whatnot. Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty hit song, and people were singing it every day. And, you know, why not? I mean, you're going to have something. If you get past the lyrics of songs, the beat is what's going to catch you. All right? That's what's going to drive your attention, regardless of what the person is saying, and it be it dumb, smart, ignorant, great, poetic, philosophical, whatever. The beat is what's going to carry it.
Okay.
I can listen to Jay-Z, Kanye, DMX, anybody. I don't really listen to the words. I'm listening to the beat. I'm
Correct.
listening to the music.
Correct. But if Lil Bass come home talking about popping the Molly, I'm sweating. Hey, Dad, I want to pop the Molly, I'm sweating. You're gonna be like, what the H is wrong with you?
No, I'm actually going to be asking him to define what that is because I don't know what that is.
But all the kids do it, Dad.
What is it?
I understand that.
What is it?
Well, Molly is a designer drug.
Okay.
From what I understand, for those of us older folks, a Molly is kind of like an X pill, an
Yeah.
ecstasy pill, something like that.
Ecstasy pill.
Yeah. Tony,
Okay.
what you think on this?
Then I'll have to kill him.
Tony, what's your thoughts?
I think it's really sad that a lot of these, I don't even really feel comfortable calling them hip hop artists because to me, that's not what hip hop is, what they're doing now. But it's like they're making it seem cool to be hood and ignorant, and it's all about being in the club and making money and driving cars and being with girls and partying. Like, that's okay to an extent, but that's not real life. And you have a generation of children who are aspiring to be rappers so they can have money and drink all day and smoke weed all day and sit around a pool. And I think it's up to us as parents. Hopefully you're kind of monitoring what your children are listening to. Like, my son loves Jimi Hendrix. He loves Jimi Hendrix. He likes some of the newer hip hop stuff, but he'll ask me about music. Like, of course, to him is a long time ago, the olden days, but he'll ask me, what did you listen to? And I let him hear the music that I listen to, and he's like, wow, I like that. Right. So, it's up to us. Yeah, turn off the radio. Technology is such that you don't have to listen to Power 92 all day, every day, right, or any of the, local radio stations. Technology is such, pull up on YouTube. There's all kinds of stuff. My son knows about certain groups before they hit mainstream. So, we need to take it back because it's really ridiculous. Really ridiculous. Like, there's a song, I'm Different. Yes, I'm Different.
Oh yeah, that's 2 Chainz. Mr. 42-year-old 2 Chainz.
Yes. Yes. And someone I was friends with on Facebook a couple months ago mentioned that he'd gone to college and he got a scholarship, he played basketball, had a really high GPA, but he sounds like he was just freed from a plantation.
I want to say this. I'm going to say this. I mean,
that's great.
I think the difference between hip hop today and hip hop before is we didn't have any shortage of nonsense and buffoonery back then. The only difference back then was we were young, and when you're young, you feed into it. You know what I mean? Like NWA, to this day, I still love NWA, and I can't say the name of their group because I don't say that word. You know what I'm saying? So when I listen to the song, like, I can't rhyme it in the car like I used to because there's too many of that word in their songs, but I still love that joint because I picked it up as a kid, but see, the difference between today and now, today and then, is for every NWA, you had Public Enemy, right? For every 2 Live Crew, you had Boogie Down Productions. You see what I'm saying? For every Ice-T, you had Rakim Allah, right? So where is the differences now? Because I don't listen to hip hop anymore. I would much rather listen to Aerosmith and Kiss. Real talk. I'd rather listen to, Queen and the Beatles than listen to what I'm hearing in hip hop. And that's just me. I think I've kind of grown out of it. But if I was someone who was still wanting, because I don't want to listen to it anymore. It's not that I have grown out of it. So if there was somebody that was hot now, I'd be like, it's cool, but I'd rather listen to my old Led Zeppelin CD they made 10 years before I was born. That's just my musical tastes are different. But what I do know, because I have paid attention, is that there isn't a lot of mainstream hip hoppers that you can listen to now that gives you the balance between 2 Chainz and what's the kid's name? Soulja Boy Slim. Soulja Boy Tell 'Em. Yeah, the stuff that he was coming out with a couple years ago, or Wiz Khalifa and these cats now, it's like, really, Lil Wayne. I mean, seriously, to me it's embarrassing to be a part of the culture that I grew up with when I remember seeing dudes spit 16 bars. Didn't even take a break. Take a breath. 16 bars, just go. And the whole time, they talking about what's going on in the community. They talking about clowning you for what you wearing right now. They talking about how they could take your girl from you. You know, there was creativity. Whereas now, it's all about, I'm popping this Molly. I'm driving this nice car. I could do this to 100 different girls. I mean, it's just not really my thing no more. But at the same time, I do reserve I do think that they should have the right to do it. You know, and I know that sounds somewhat hypocritical, but I got that from Reverend Run because I heard him in an interview, and he basically was like, I remember when we was coming up, me, D, and Jay, and people was hating on us. You know what I mean? 20 years older than us, you know, and they used to listening to the Temptations and the Tops and JB and that kind of stuff. And then they hear, you know, these cats coming out, Run DMC, that, you know, that being, and hating on them. So who knows what we're going to be saying in 20 years from now. I don't think that anybody's going to be listening to 2 Chainz 20 years from now, but I do think 20 years from now, they still going to be listening to Run DMC, personally. Big Ro.
Well, I mean, I guess my opinion is, I feel like when we were growing up, we at least understood what this stuff meant, and we could understand that, hey, this is this, and, you know, like NWA, when they came out with the Blank Police song, that wasn't exactly a positive song for the police, but we understood how they felt. But that don't mean we're going to go out and just start acting stupid, you know? So I feel like that back then when we were growing up, it's just a lot easier we understood the right and the wrong. But I think nowadays, I'm not sure if the kids understand the right and the wrong because, you know, if Lil Wayne's doing it, then I should do it. You know, just the hero status that they're giving now.
While I understand where you're coming from, I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay.
Here's why I'm going to disagree with you. I grew up in Jersey City, New Jersey, and I looked up to Eazy-E, and I wore a L.A. Kings hat because he did. And I went to store after store to try to find the sunglasses he wore. He called them Lokes. And to this day, I call sunglasses Lokes because he did. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wore an African medallion around my neck because that's what Kwame was wearing. You know what I'm saying? I wore an X hat, you know, before I even knew the knowledge of who Malcolm X was, because that's what I saw Public Enemy doing. So the point I'm making is young kids going to do what they see on television. So if you present them with positivity, like me wearing that African medallion and that X hat, then that's what they're going to do. But the people who are the powers that be don't want that. They don't want that. It's a big cycle. The reason why they don't want that is because they want you dumbed down. They don't want you critical thinking. They want you to be somebody that's going to follow. They want you in the street doing those dumb things so that they can put you in jail. They want you in jail so they can get the free labor. They want the free labor so they can continue making their money. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. And very early on, the people who run them record companies, they realize that they don't have to do nothing. All they got to do is pay you to say all the dumb stuff and tell the kids, do this dumb stuff. And them kids going to do it. And when they do it, we going to put them in jail for it. That's the cycle. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the reason why it frustrates me, because when you have a guy like Common, who's great, but who will never have a mainstream record because he's not saying what they want him to say. When you got somebody like Rakim who's still hot, you got somebody like Nas who always been hot. These cats ain't coming out with nothing. You got somebody that's hot like Jay-Z who has the power to do it, but he doesn't because he knows it ain't gonna make no money on the street. To me, that's the thing that we need to tackle. And how do we tackle it? That's the question. That's the question.
All right. That was a pretty good conversation on that one.
Yeah, man. I get fired up about that because for me, you know, it's the cultural conditioning that continues year after year, generation after generation. They continue to dumb down our kids, right, with nonsense. Then you get somebody like me, and I'm not trying to build myself up, but I'm going to keep it real. You get somebody like me who's a critical thinker who's going to look at something and be like, that's bull. I'm analyzing that, and I'm not going to call it how you calling it. Then you want to call me a conspiracy theorist. You know what I'm saying? But no, I'm not. I'm just not putting up with your crap.
Educate yourselves, young people. Parents, educate your kids.
We got another hit from DMX Factor 1999 on the Mix LR fan page. And every generation has good and bad. This generation has good also, but you have to find it in the haystacks, like a needle in a haystack, DMX is saying. So I somewhat agree with that. I guess you have to look further for it. You know, me personally, I'm just not into hip hop no more. I would much rather listen to classic hip hop, which is what we've been playing tonight.
Gotcha. All right.